There we go. Illusion of limitations. And I have this feeling since last week, and amazing about I have arrived. Because there is no more illusion about I need to get done this, I need to get done this, I need to get done this. No more. And I like no more feeling of I don't feel limited by I need to get work done.
Good.
Well, I know that you have even better explanation of what is limitations and what we do with them.
Well, from my perspective, it's anything we say we can't do because. Every time we say, I can't do because, we're limiting ourselves. The minute we say, I can't do because, or I can't do, we're arguing for our limitations, not for our possibilities. And then the question comes into why do we limit ourselves? So, what do you think? Why do you think we limit ourselves?
It's just like what I saw a couple of minutes ago when you break through yours, okay? This unspoken vows and promises that we are taking on when we as a soul are choosing human experience means having subconscious, having all the conditioning, all the programming. We are choosing them and then we need to break through them to heal it. But this, yeah, those are, it's like creating the bubble around us. And when we do this healing work, it mostly looks like we are all the time recreating this small bubble around us. But the real limitation is just having that bubble instead of expanding or stepping out of that bubble.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And at some point, we realize that we are everything and everything is available to us. All we have to do is choose.
Yeah.
That the only thing that limits us after a time is ourselves. Actually, most of the time, the only thing that limits us is ourselves.
Okay, but I really love it. I really love it. But I can feel that question, how to get there.
There's a lot of ways to get there. There's a lot of ways to get there. And you have to be willing. That's the biggest thing because somebody can literally come to you and say, hey, I can see that you can get so much further than you are. And I can tell you how to get further than you are, but it's going to require this. I'll be there to help you. I'll be there to teach you. I'll be there to help you through the sucky parts of it. And you could absolutely say yes because you're ready to live beyond those limitations. Or you can absolutely say no, I prefer to stay where I am. And that's a choice. And when we remember our greatest power is simply our choice, the whole world expands.
But to get there, we did a job anyway. In a
Yes.
bubble. A long
Yes.
job in a bubble.
We did do a long job in a bubble, and we went the route of going through belief coding, and we did a intensive 6 week 12 course advanced series, and I am not the same person that I was when we started the process. I was very afraid, I was anxious, the world felt very unsafe for me, and over the course of those 6 weeks, there was a point I was counting down, like, how many more sessions do we have? Because I'm tired and this is hard work. And I don't know if I have the capacity to keep going, even though I've done work for a really, really long time and I'm well versed in the what appears to be chaos that gets kicked up when we start doing our work. But after those 12 sessions and those 6 weeks, and it had time to integrate and process, I came out the other side a completely different person. The fears, the anxieties, the unsettledness, the feeling like I was walking on eggshells or hot glass all disappeared. And now I live in my life as though I belong there. Where before I was there in my life, but I felt at any given moment the rug was going to be pulled out from underneath me. And I had to watch everything that was said and everything that was done. And I felt like I needed to control it, even though I knew I had no sense of control at that point. But it was worth the 6 weeks, the financial investment, the emotional investment that it took to get to the other side.
I remember you chose from the very beginning, I want to be free.
Yeah,
And it's, again, you know what? It's a choice. I want to be free of any limitations. And yes, we got up some like normal human experiences. Well, maybe even more than regular human experiences, right? But through those experiences, it came that absolute freedom.
absolutely. You have to be prepared to face the things that don't feel good from your past.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is that you get to choose how you would have wanted them to be instead and how you want to feel around the situation instead. It doesn't change how that those things happened. You still have the memory, but you no longer have the emotional weight that you drag with you every single day because you didn't have a way to process them. So there's a part of you that's still stuck dragging that active moment through every day of your life. And it's usually not one moment, it's usually hundreds of moments that you're dragging that are still impacting you every moment of every day. You've just found a way to push them to the back of your mind. You drink them away, you sleep them away, you have sex, you overwork, you keep yourself busy, anything to distract you, doom scroll, anything to distract yourself from those open wounds. We all do it, but there is actually truly permanent relief that is possible. And the beliefs that we picked up about ourselves during those open wounds,
Oh.
those are things that limit us.
It's like choosing unconsciously, looking through the perception point where we are in that moment when we still live into those wounds. It's the choice as well, just it's not a conscious choice. And even if it is conscious choice, subconscious is not cooperating and it's still looking for the proof for the old programming, right?
Yeah, I know in the past you and I had spoken on the Matrix movie and how this world is very much like the Matrix movie.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that the people that were in the Matrix are those of us who, most of us, who haven't done the inner work needed to actually become aware of what those old operating processes were, right? We are choosing, but we're doing it unconsciously, and we're reinforcing the beliefs that the choices we made when we were children, or the choices that we believed because our parents taught us that that was the truth, right? So we took on their operating systems, and then we just continue the process generation after generation after generation. Or we can wake up and we can realize, okay, those are operating systems. Are they operating systems I would still choose now? And if they're not, what would I choose instead? And that is when you exit the matrix. When you start becoming aware that you actually have conscious choice now and you're not being driven by the programming from years and generations before.
It's like setting the new, no, choosing the new settings. That will be like this now, from now on. Something always is coming up, right? But now I think it's like, I know that for me, for myself, doing this big job, oh my God, like both of us, right? 24 years in a self-development. And that before feeling for me was like, I have to get on this, I need to work on this, I need to work. I'm aware there is the grief, I'm aware, but it's so much. So, oh, and then overwhelm comes up, right? And you even don't know where to start from. And I think, I really like that advanced approach when you can actually just approach the bunch of the things. And this feeling about I have arrived. I'm here, I'm grounded here and now. I like what came through, f- um, creating from the point here and now. But that means also approaching if something comes up. I feel completely different feeling about it. There is no more urgency. There is no more, oh my God, I need other way. There won't be anything else. I will not get breakthrough. The feeling is absolutely different. I mean, like, oh, this came up. Okay, I just can do it. Because I choose to do it, not because the urgency behind it. I love it. I love this feeling. I've been resting for 4 days without feeling guilty that I need to get on this, or something else. Nope, nope. I'm a mental projector. I deserve the rest.
Absolutely. And
How,
especially in our society that it's all about hustle and survival, right? So we've all been taught, or a lot of us have been taught, how to live in survival mode. And so we're always in that, like keeping your head down and trying not to get noticed, but noticed enough to where we can make forward progress in life, not putting ourselves in danger, overworking, three, four jobs, you know. And then when we go to rest, we feel guilty because we think we're not allowed to. But that's a belief that can be changed, as you just shown.
yeah. And you know what I really like about this? When you go sleep, you overthink, you get everything through your head again and again and again and again. And maybe next night again and again and the same thing again. I like how was the name? Neville Goddard, right?
Mhm.
That is this what he taught at the beginning of 19th century already. When you go through those thoughts at night, just before you fall asleep, reshape them. How would you want them to be? Honestly, I came across his name not so long ago. But I just noticed that it was something I was doing since I was small,
Mm,
reshaping how I think I would want. And then when we now do the job, yeah, there is still some things that comes up and stuff, but majority of them, of my memories, they doesn't feel so harsh anymore. Well, I did a job, but because I have this habit, which came naturally. Well, when I was 12 in the Soviet Union, I didn't have any access to any esoterical teachings really. it all makes sense. The more I learn about how subconscious works and all those tools, how we can work with the subconscious. I just simple. How would you want? What you would respond, especially in a harsh moments, when we are maybe in a, how you call it, fight and flight mode or whatever. You are unable, but when you recall it, you can just think, okay, this would be how I would want to be. That's why maybe I just noticed it's quite hard for me to let go of existing identity because I created myself consciously. But choosing, or I would want myself to, instead of react, respond this way. So I just would go through in my head and like rehearse it all the time. Oh, and at some moment it just becomes a nature. And
Hmm.
now when I need to choose the next level of identity, it's like, oh, I achieved everything, which is another illusion actually, because infinity is limitless. It's just well, I can choose where I stay. It's a
Absolutely.
choice as well, but maybe. How
But
do you
it all
feel?
comes down to choice, though, like you said.
Yeah, free will. That's
Yeah.
called free will. You choose. You choose and you get what you choose. And I
Hmm.
always will remember how you chose to be free. It was from first time you said, I choose to be free from limitations. You
Yeah.
choose. That is result.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and for me, going back to what you were saying as far as you've chosen that identity, when you rewrite an identity, you don't have to rewrite every part, only the parts you want to rewrite.
Mhm,
So if something isn't working for you any longer, you just rewrite that part
mhm.
because it's all a choice. You get to choose what you keep, you get to choose what you rewrite. It's all a choice. And that is where the beauty and the freedom of life actually come in. We're not as powerless and helpless and victimized as we think we are.
Something comes in my mind. I want to ask you this question. You know, I remember like really long time ago when I just started uh, discover what self-development and the inner work means and all the shadow work and stuff. And then um, good, like very clever gurus or teachers or whatever they would say, oh, you just need to let go of this, or oh, you need to clean this, but no one actually would tell how to, and that was so annoying. You just need to let go. However, now I say it's absolutely different. But what I want to ask you is, so if something comes up and the awareness of I need to let it go kicks in, I need to let it go, how easy it is to let go.
If you have the right protocol and process in place, it's easy to let go. If you don't, and that herein lies what the problem that I came up against in my experiences in my evolution was that, well, you need to let it go. And just like you, they didn't tell you how. And we have been conditioned from the time we're little, right? Not to even experience our emotions, let alone to process them. And scientifically, they say that emotions, if they are allowed express, meaning they come about, they peak, then they flow, and they calm back down. They're like the ocean waves, right? They come into the shore, they hit the sand, and they go back out. And then once again, they're part of the ocean. Well, that's how emotions are supposed to be. But we're always taught, like, oh, don't cry. Don't be mad. Don't yell. Don't. The adults are talking. Whatever it is, we're taught that we're not allowed to be who we're supposed to be, who we are showing up as. We're always taught how to be something else. But if we give ourselves permission to even experience the emotions and say, okay, I'm here with you. And it's going to take 90 seconds, which while you're in it can seem like a really long time, but in the scheme of things isn't very long. And if you breathe in and you say, I honor me, and you breathe out and you say, I honor you, and you just keep that cyclical breathing, breathing in, I honor me, breathing out, I honor you. And you do that with yourself, you do that with the part of you that is showing up because all of us have parts where something happened in our life. Maybe we were 11, maybe we were 3, maybe we were 8 months old, who knows? But that's where the emotion is still alive because it never got a chance to fully do what it does and cycle through. So we speak to that part of us and we could do it just with that breath. I honor me, I honor you. And you'll notice after 90 seconds roughly of doing this, the emotional charge that was there has dissipated. And by being with that part of you that is still living that emotional aliveness, you've honored them. And by honoring them, you can then give them choice and say, how would you have liked this to be instead? Like you were saying, at night, reinforcing how you would want it to be. Now you're giving the part of you that had that alive emotion an opportunity to say, how would you have rather the people who are interacting with you have behaved? And just use your imagination without limiting yourself. Whatever it is, use your imagination and allow it to be that. And then check back in with that part of you that had the live emotion and say, how do you feel now? Because they're almost always going to feel better. And in the end, you're going to feel better.
Yeah. You know, when we start to ask the questions into the field, the answers always comes and tools is coming and like solutions are coming, everything. And it's like, I love this. I love this code. I am source.
Mm-hmm.
I am free. I am source. I think that's, and I am infinite, powerful, limited, completely unbounded. That gives power. And what you just described, the process of this, it guides us into this. I am source.
Mm-hmm.
And we choose what we create. Are we creating sadness, bitterness, or we are creating a freedom?
Absolutely.
And that makes us a god.
Yes, absolutely. So, as you said, when we first started our process, no one really had, they told you what to do, but they never told you how to get there, right? And with some of my clients, they say, not the ones that do this sort of work, but other things that I do, they're like, yeah, people tell me all the time I got to do my shit. I got to work with my inner shit, but nobody tells me how to do it. And I'm like, I got you, girl. No worries. I got you. But knowing now that you have tools available to you to make these changes, to let things go, to do the things, what is one of your favorite things to allow that those shifts to happen?
Oh, so I think, yeah, oh my God, that's really, I have to appreciate now the things. So, in the human design, there is like energy types and then non-energy types. I'm non-energy type, so I'm a mental projector. And they says, again, that's some kind of conditioning on a way of the conditioning. So it's like wait for invitations, have to be seen, recognized, invited, need to be like, so example, like when we had our very, very first session, you felt big shift, you appreciated that shift, and then you came back to me and said, I want to work with you in long time. That was an invitation. That's why it worked. So for me, being conditioned in a world of energy people who are doers, 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 doers. And I read those energies and I wasn't able to recognize is it my or I'm reading somebody else's anxiety. I think I start to recognize that I'm actually not that anxious person because I'm starting more honor myself, my energy, and allowing myself um, to step into my own energy. And I'm choosing what is my energy
Hmm.
instead of just reading what's around. And then the things they unfold as they go. And I think, the feeling of freedom that I no need to hustle, I no need to do. Because I know very well what means burnout.
Hmm.
For 10 years, I worked in a kitchen in a busy environment because do, you have to do. That's not possible. So, yeah, honoring my own cycles, my own rhythm, my own energy is the biggest one. And seeing how, if I'm creating here and now as a source, as a God by my own choices, the outer world must respond. If I'm creating different choices and making different decisions in a coherence with my all inner parts, there is no other way that everything around starts to change. So, but yeah, like noticing those changes is really big part of the process. And I think that creates some kind of trust, some kind of new belief is created that I am a god of my reality.
Right.
Oh, I love it. So, guys, um, we are like coming every week, not every week recording, but sometimes yes. Um, so yeah, just don't be afraid to do your job and don't be afraid to be free. It is that worth, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Okay, see you next time.